For the first few years of your life, you were the center of someone's entire world. People held you, fed you, stayed awake at night, watching you breathe. You learned to recognize faces, to sit, to walk, to say your first words. You experienced thousands of days packed with discovery, and you remember almost none of it. Try right now. Try to remember being 1 year old. There's nothing there, just a blank, where the most important years of your development used to be. So where did all of it go? Why does every single human being walk around with the first chapter of their life completely erased? This blank spot even has a name: childhood amnesia. And the explanation isn't that nothing happened, or that those years didn't matter. It's something much stranger. The answer is tangled up in how memory is built, how language shapes your mind, and the surprising question of when exactly you actually began. First, let's be clear about how complete this is. Almost no one has reliable memories from before the age of 3. A few people claim fragments from age 2, but psychologists who study this have found that most of those early memories are reconstructions, stitched together from photographs, family stories, and imagination, rather than the real thing. Your brain is very good at building a memory that feels real out of a story you were told. The average person's first genuine memory sits somewhere around 3.5 years old. And even then, the memories from 3 to about 7 are sparse and patchy compared to everything that comes later. This pattern holds across cultures, across the entire world. It happens to everyone, which tells us it's not an accident. It's built into how humans develop. The question is, why? For a long time, the obvious guess was that babies simply don't form memories. But that turned out to be wrong. Babies and toddlers form memories constantly. It's how they learn language, faces, and how the world works. A 1-year-old absolutely remembers their parents and their home. So the memories are being made. The mystery is why they don't last. Part of the answer lies in a small, curved structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is essential for forming long-term memories of events, the kind you can consciously recall later. And in a baby, the hippocampus is still very much under construction. In those first years, the brain is growing at a staggering rate, forming new connections faster than at any other point in your life. But here's the twist. It's also pruning and reorganizing constantly. New neurons are being added to the very circuits that store memories. And researchers think that this explosive growth, while wonderful for learning, may actually overwrite and disrupt the fragile early memories. The filing cabinet is being rebuilt while you're still trying to file things in it. The memories were real, but the system meant to store them long-term wasn't finished yet. But brain hardware is only half the story. There's a second piece, and it's deeply human: language. Think about how you remember your own life. Most of your memories are stories. You remember events as narratives with a beginning, middle, and end, often with words attached. That was the summer we moved. That's when I broke my arm. Memory and language are tied tightly together. And for the first couple of years of life, you didn't have language. You had no words to label your experiences, no way to turn a moment into a story you could store and retrieve. Psychologists have found striking evidence for this link. In studies of young children, the ones with more advanced language skills tend to form earlier and more durable memories. There's even research suggesting that the way parents talk with their children about the past, asking questions, building little narratives together, shapes how early and how richly those children can remember. A memory you can put into words is a memory you can keep. Before language, your experiences were happening vividly, but they were like notes played without anyone writing down the music. The performance was real. There was just no score left behind. This is part of why your earliest memories tend to cluster right around the age you became fluent enough to narrate your own life. And now we reach the strangest part of all. To remember your life, you need more than a brain and words. You need a you. You need a stable sense of self, a main character at the center of the story, the thing you call I. And that sense of self isn't something you're born with, it develops. Very young babies don't appear to have a clear concept of themselves as a separate individual moving through time. There's a famous experiment psychologists use to test this. They put a small dot of rouge on a child's nose and sit them in front of a mirror. Younger toddlers reach toward the mirror, treating the reflection as another baby. But somewhere around 18 months to 2 years, something clicks. The child reaches for their own nose instead. They understand, that's me. That recognition is one of the first signs of a self-concept forming. And without a self, there's no anchor to attach memories to. Your experiences as a tiny infant may have had no central I to belong to. They weren't your memories yet because there wasn't fully a you for them to happen to. In a strange and literal sense, the reason you can't remember being a baby may be that the person doing the remembering hadn't been fully born yet, even though the body already had. So is all of it just lost forever? Not exactly, and this is the haunting part. While you can't consciously recall those years, they shaped you more deeply than any memory you can name. Those first years built your brain's foundation, how safe you feel in the world, how you bond with others, your earliest emotional patterns, even aspects of your personality. The feeling of comfort at a certain smell, an inexplicable reaction to a certain place, the deep sense of whether the world is safe or threatening, much of that was laid down in the years you can't remember. You don't have the memories, but you are, in a very real sense, made of them. The first chapter of your life is missing from the book, and yet it's the foundation the entire rest of the story is built on. So the next time you look at a baby, completely absorbed in a moment they will never consciously remember, understand what you're really seeing. You're watching a person live through the most important years of their life, knowing none of it will be kept. Not because those years don't matter, but because the brain that records them isn't finished. The language that stores them hasn't arrived, and the self they belong to hasn't fully woken up. Your own beginning is gone in exactly the same way. You were there for all of it. You just hadn't quite become someone yet. And by the time you did, the door to those years had already quietly closed behind you.